Learning scales on the guitar can be a daunting task. There are a vast number of possibilities in terms of fingerings because of the nature of the instrument. But fear not, there's a simple way of learning and memorizing any scale on the fretboard without ever having to look up any scale charts in the future. Now grab your guitar and let's get to it. Hello everyone, this is Guitar Tips with András. In today's video, we're going to explore a simple technique that will make learning scales a breeze. I offer online guitar lessons, so as always, if you have any questions, reach out to me on my website and get 50% off your first guitar lesson. So what are scales? If you're playing a select group of notes between two notes which are an octave apart in either ascending or descending order, you're playing a scale. But the guitar is a tricky beast because the same note can appear in multiple different places on the fretboard. For example, this note is the same as this, which is the same as this, which is the same as this, which is the same as this. To tackle this problem, I recommend that you stick with two simple rules to make learning scales much easier, at least in the beginning. Rule number 1, start every scale with the same finger. Of course, in the future, you should be able to play any scale starting on any finger, but as you're starting out with scales, it's much easier to stick with a single finger. Rule number 2, stay in the same position. If you're not certain what positions are, check out my other video where I discuss positions in much more detail. Playing in a single position ensures you can play the scale blindly without having to look at the fretboard, but more importantly, it enables you to map each and every one of the scale notes to a finger, which will make it much easier to learn new scales in a comparative way. More on this a little later. Again, as you progress with your studies, you'll want to be able to play scales across multiple positions. But for starting out, just keep it simple. Use the same finger to start every one of the scales and stay in the same position. I mentioned that learning scales in the same position helps you learn new scales in a comparative manner. Now what does that mean? It means that you only need to learn a single scale from scratch. And all you'll have to learn in the future is how new scales that you're about to learn differ from this one. This scale should be the major scale. The reason for that is that many concepts such as chord theory and intervals can be explained using that scale. But more on those things in future videos. This is what the major scale looks like in a single position, starting on G using the middle finger. I could have chosen any other note to start this scale on because this is a movable shape. Any shape on the guitar that doesn't require an open string is a movable shape. This is true to either scales or chords. If you're playing a movable shape, it's going to look the same no matter where you're playing it on the fretboard. For example, this was the G major scale. But the G sharp major scale, for example, is this. And the A major scale is this. And so on. It's always the same. I could even start it on a different string. For example, this is the C major scale, started on the A string. Recognize that the shape is exactly the same as earlier. There's only one important detail here. If your movable shape spans across the B string, you're going to have to adjust the shape ever so slightly. If I wanted to play an F major scale starting on the F note on the D string, I would have to adjust the shape a little bit, because if I didn't, it would sound like this. That's not an F major scale because of the tuning irregularity that happens on the guitar. So anytime you encounter a B string within a movable shape, just make sure that whatever you would normally play on that string, you move it one fret to the right. So the F major scale would correctly look like this. Recognize how I moved the last line of the shape to the right. So now you know how to play a major scale starting on any note on the fretboard. Just keep in mind to adjust the shape if you reach the B string. Congratulations, you got the hard part out of the way. Now on to other types of scales. Using the comparative approach to learn new scales, you will never have to learn new scales from scratch. You'll just have to learn how each of these scales differ from one another. Luckily, most of the scales will differ only in 1 to 3 notes from another scale. For example, the natural minor scale is the same as the major scale, but you have to flatten the 3rd note, the 6th note, and the 7th note. Okay, so check this out. This was the G major scale. Okay, so this is the 1st note, this is the 2nd note, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Now to play the natural minor scale, I'll have to flatten the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th. Like this. 1, 2, flat 3, 4 is normal, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and the octave. You see, because I strictly mapped all the notes of the scale to a particular finger, I didn't have to worry about the key signature of the G minor scale. All I have to do is to adjust the appropriate fingers. This way you will get intimately familiar with the structure of the scale you're learning. Learning scales with this approach will make it infinitely easier to improvise over chord progressions or to read complicated chord symbols. But more on that in a future video. You may have heard about the fact that there are different types of minor scales out there. This one was the natural minor scale. There's also the harmonic and the melodic minor scales. But luckily, using the comparative approach will make learning these new scales also much easier. The harmonic minor scale is basically the same as the natural minor was, but with a sharpened 7th note. So it looks like this. Sharpened 7th and the octave. The melodic minor scale is the same as the harmonic minor scale was, but with a naturalized 6, so an unflattened 6th note. So to sum up, the natural minor scale is the same as the major scale with flat 3, flat 6 and flat 7. The harmonic minor scale is the same as the natural minor scale, but with a sharpened 7th note. The melodic minor scale is the same as the harmonic minor scale, but with a natural 6. It's also worth taking some time to see how each of these scales compare to other scales. The natural minor scale is the same as the major scale, but with flattened 3rd and flattened 6. The melodic minor scale is the same as the major scale, but with flattened 3rd, and so on. Once you get the hang of these 1-octave shapes, you're ready to move on to playing those scales in 2 octaves. There are 2 distinct approaches to that. One approach is to reuse the same scale shape starting on the last note of the previous one, like this. G major scale in the 1st octave. Once I reach the last note, I restart the same scale shape one more time, exactly the same way. Adjusting for the B string and the back. The problem with this is that you need to switch to a different position. You see, I had to move on to the 4th position in order to finish the scale. So an even better approach is to keep both octaves of the scale in the same position, like this. This 2-octave shape is particularly useful when deciphering complex chord symbols with many extension notes. As a homework, challenge yourself and try to play the 2-octave versions of the G harmonic minor, G melodic minor and G natural minor scales. Using this comparative approach, even learning more complicated, advanced scales becomes much easier too, such as the harmonic major scale, that's the same as the major scale but with flattened 6th note, or the bebop scale, that's the same as the major scale with an additional chromatic passing note. In a future video, we're going to explore how to use this method for learning the modes of major as well, to enrich the collection of scales you can use for improvisation or for interpreting chord symbols. So that's it. This is how you can learn and memorize any scale with a simple fingering. Let me know how you get on with these scales in the comments section. Press the like button if you found this video useful, and don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in learning about other guitar tips as well. Thanks for watching, keep practicing, I'll see you next week.